we are live. So sitting up in a comfortable seat. I remember when we went through the cardiovascular system in the yoga therapy training. I mean, it was just one moment after another. It is an absolutely amazing organ. Like I said in the email yesterday, it's fascinating that it actually starts beating at about 5 or 6 weeks in the womb. And so it just beep, 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 but the lungs are not doing anything. So at that moment of birth, when we take that first breath, the valves to the heart opens up. And then the whole circulatory system begins to draw the oxygen from the lungs. I mean, think about that. You think about the engineering marvel that has to take place at that very moment. Not before, not after, and somehow, most of the time, it works. You circulate, this is just another little data. I like numbers. 12,000 miles. Your blood travels 12,000 miles a day. That's back and forth the country 4 times. How about that? I mean, that's enough to make you exhausted. So part of our heart health is to make sure that there is the least amount of obstruction as it has to travel through these loops, the arteries and the veins. High blood pressure is sometimes, but not always, associated with restriction. High cholesterol, that's a narrowing, or I can't probably say this word right, arterial sclerosis. So a hardening. You're nodding, Janice, did I sort of semi-get it? There's a hardening of the arteries. So our flexibility directly relates, our flexibility in our muscles directly relates to the flexibility in our arteries. So if we are sedentary, then everything just gets stiffer and stiffer. So just your basic yoga practice facilitates that even flow that makes everything feel better. Our heart rate variability is another index that we can use to assess how healthy is the heart muscle, because it's not just at the same dup, 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 dup. It speeds up and it slows down. You know it if you've had a fright. It's like, oh God, my heart is going to jump out of my chest. And so it has to have the ability to speed up, to respond to the nervous system. It also has to have the ability to slow down again. And when we breathe with the diaphragm, up and down. So last week I said your kidneys travel 1/3 of a mile, while your heart sits on top of that in the pericardium sac. So when you breathe with the diaphragm, the heart moves down with the diaphragm and it gets a little faster. And as you exhale and the heart swoops back up, the heart rate slows down a little bit. And the all-knowing they say a heart rate variability about 5 to 6 breaths a minute is optimal. Most of us, we breathe a lot faster than that. So when we train, when we sit and center, that's always an opportunity to check in with the heart. So I invite you to take your right hand and just place it on the heart. So when we sing the national anthem, we put the hand on the left side. It's really more towards the center. And it sits like a fist. It's nuzzled in to the left lobe, the left lung. So I'm not going to be not mirroring you on that one here. So that's the size of the heart. But if you place your palm on your, just slightly to the left of the sternum, can you feel your heartbeat? And then as you now begin to invite the breath to deepen so that the belly expands on the in-breath. Relaxes back towards the spine on the out-breath. Can you feel, and it's subtle, that your heart slows down a little bit on the out-breath and speeds up a little bit on the in-breath? Transferring the sensation from the hand inward so you feel this sense. And then as you take your hands down, bring your thumbs to your index finger and your middle finger with the ring finger and pinky finger stretched out. This is Vyana Mudra. Vyana is expansing, it is circulating. So this is a mudra that facilitates, benefits both high and low blood pressure. It helps regulate to a healthy blood pressure. So as you breathe in and out, the belly expands and relaxes. Can you still sense your heart beating? Pumping these 2,000 gallons of blood throughout your system. So physically, we take care of our heart by the 3 cornerstones of wellness: rest, movement, and diet. The emotional heart intertwines with the physical heart. And we know that because emotions feels very physical. A heavy heart or a happy heart. There can be heaviness or lightness. So Tara Brach talks about gladdening the heart by simply holding a memory or gazing on something that brings you joy, and hold that notion for about 20 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds. So whether that is the smile of a loved one or just a random person smiling, this relaxes the tension, the physical tension around the heart. Breathing in and out. Holding that thought or thoughts of joy, and let it seep throughout every cell of your body. That also helps relax the tension around our arteries and veins. If your eyes are closed, I invite you to open them, stretch your fingers. If you're cross-legged, switch the cross of the legs. Extend the arms out to the sides. The connective tissue that surrounds our heart, the pericardium, the lungs, extends out to our fingertips. So when we stretch the arms, when we use the arms, we facilitate again more flexibility around the heart. Wave at me. Smile. I do this when I'm out walking. I just wave at people and smile. And once they get over the surprise, I don't know her, why is she waving at me? They typically smile back and wave at me too. So they got a little cardiovascular energy in for the day. So I call this my public service. Now let's take the arms up. I invite you to try that. Just wave at people. Makes you happier and it's going to make them happier. Let's side bend. What are they going to do? Stop the car and yell at you? No. Inhaling up, you just brighten their day. And up to center. Let's twist. And then inhaling up. And Candy, welcome. I saw you joined in. I can't see. I see your hands right now. So if you aim the camera down a little bit, I can also see you. We'll inhale up again. Let's interlace the fingers with the other thumb in front. And press the palms upward. Lifting the ribs up. And we'll side bend again. Let's go to the left first this time. The smaller of our lungs, 2 lobes. Can you breathe into the left side, expanding. And we'll go to the top, and we'll go to the right. Now breathing into the 3 lobes on the right. Extending up, releasing down. Let's take the legs out in front. Pressing out through the heels with Dandasana. Take the hands down behind you to facilitate the lifting. And let's bring the soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana opens all this business. So tight hips. It's harder to move the blood through. Inhale, let's lift the heart. Spread the knees. And exhale, let the legs relax as you round. So cat and cow seated. Back and forth. And now let's stay in the lifted position. Reaching up through the knees. Let the bottom of the feet turn upward. And you can take your thumbs to the feet and give yourself a little soul love. And we'll bring the soles of the feet together. We'll bring the knees together. Extend the legs out again. Hands back. Lengthening up through the front spine. Let's take the arms up again. Reaching up. Hook the thumbs. And then have your fingers spread. Thumbs are hooking and pulling apart so you feel the engaging of the shoulders. Drawing the knees down. So opening up the rib cavity so that the lungs can expand fully on the in-breath. It's part of the well heart. Let's take the arms down and then come all the way onto the mat. So you'll take a blanket. I'll use this pretty green. Green is the chakra color of the heart. And you're going to unfold it so it's half the length. And then you're going to roll it up. I'll scoot back so you can see me. Into a baguette. So you can also use, if you have a foam roller, if you have 2 blankets, you're going to take another one. Roll that one around it. And again, like I said, a foam roller can also do this work. So we'll spend a little bit of time getting our ribs, fringes to the same end. And roll, roll, roll. So now I created a little blanket roll. So the blanket, a spinal roll, placing it on your mat. I let all the rolling finish. I have the fringes at the head end because I want my tail end to have the firmest support. So you may find that this is too big, so I invite you to continue to explore this practice after today. And again, a foam roller can do the trick too. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to lay beside it and then simply roll up onto it. You're going to keep your knees bent, keeping the knees bent. So the back of my skull is supported. And what this does, it places my shoulder joints lower. Gravity is now going to facilitate that the chest area expands. I invite you to take your arms out to cactus arms with the palms facing up. And if your arms are floaty, straightening the elbows until your lower arm and wrist can rest with ease on the floor so that nothing is held in a tense position. Remember, tension around anywhere around the arms or shoulders affects the heart. Now, you're going to be rocking gently from side to side. Not a big hairy deal, just rocking from side to side. Letting the arms be heavy. You can close your eyes. This should feel really good. Tension around the spine, like anywhere else in the body, can get lodged in. So this helps set sort of the equilibrium of awakens all the way up and down the spinal column. Now as you come back to center, now arch and flatten. So inhale, arch the low back, and exhale, flatten. Just go back and forth. Again, don't make it hard. Let your head travel with your pelvis. So as the tailbone draws towards the earth, so does the chin. And if it doesn't travel easily, where is it stuck? What doesn't move? And then pausing. Pausing, breathing. And then without a lot of effort, you're going to roll off the blanket to one side, and then I invite you to come just flat on your back first. So we didn't do our little tester first to see how we felt. But as you lay flat on your back here, did you get a little bit more awareness of or ease across the upper chest or shoulders? And then I invite you to bend up your knees, roll over onto one side, and sit up. You're now going to take your, well, I can't really call it baguette, your French bread, loaf of French bread here, and put it across. God, I love bread. Oh. And so now we're going to work opposite, in opposite directions. So I'm placing it, and you may need, if you find that your head is, your neck is really uncomfortable as you come back over. Now we're going to take the hands behind the head, and we're going to work on creating more opening in this manner, because the chest that's collapsed and forward. Again, the heart and lungs just does not have space to expand. Start by bending out your knees. Support your torso with your hands as you lower down. Your armpits are going to clear right over the blanket. And then the hands comes to the back of the head. And you can also place a block if you can't talk when the head goes back. That means you've collapsed the throat, the trachea. So you want to elevate the head. Now here, we're going to repeat the pelvic arch and tilt. It's going to feel a little different. Arching and flattening. Draw the lower ribs down. Inhale, arch. And exhale, flatten. Again, you can use a foam roller here too. It's a great practice. Now pausing, and then do a slight flattening of the low back. Of course, it's going to flatten into nothing as you arch up. So I'm lifting, and then lowering back down. Everything relaxes. Inhale, arch again. And exhale, draw the ribs down, lifting the head and the shoulders. Now keep the ribs down as you lower down. So can you minimize the lumbar arch and maybe increase a little bit more in the upper thoracic spine? And then let everything relax. We'll inhale, arch again, ribs expands. Exhale, draw the lower ribs towards the pelvis, lifting the head and the top of the shoulders. Now keep the ribs down as you lower the head and shoulders down. That way, again, we isolate it. Take a buffer breath. And let's do that one more time. Let me have a look-see. Keep the ribs locked down as you lower the head back down. Now the side shear. You're going to do the same thing again. We're going to arch and exhale, flattening, lifting the head, but now draw the right elbow down towards the left hip. Nope, right elbow, right hip, sorry. Back to center, other side. And we return back to center, and we lower down. Buffer breath. Inhale, arch. Exhale, flatten, lifting up again. Let's repeat side shear. So it's a side bend. Elbow to the same side hip. And back to center, other side, back to center, and lower down. Buffer breath, fill the lungs. The lungs are the seat of grief. The heart is the seat of joy, though, again, it doesn't always feel that way. But it makes sense, because when we are grieving, our breath becomes shallow. Let's do that one more time, or often shallow. Inhaling, arch, exhale, flattening. And we are, I think, in a communal grieving period right now, side bending again, with that dreadful hallmark or mark that has now been realized. It's traumatizing. It's a reality. And one that we are all heard of. Now rolling on slightly onto your right shoulder blade. So now my left shoulder, my left elbow is towards the sky. I'm going to let my knees roll all the way around with me. So keep the head comfortable. Keep the head comfortable. Now take your left arm to the sky and just draw circles with your arm. So I'm laying on my right shoulder blade and I'm drawing circles with my left arm. So I'm almost all the way over on my right side. And we're just going to get the left shoulder blade free range. Remember, this is the fascia around the heart. Let's take the left hand behind the head, rolling to the left side. Supporting the head, we'll take the right arm to the sky and circle the arm. Sense the shoulder blade moving. And we'll take the hand back under the head. Now rolling all the way over onto your right side. So the blanket roll is still under the ribs. Head is supported on a block or the arm. Take your right leg, that'd be the left, wouldn't it? Out straight. Take the right leg out straight. And then take I said that wrong. Take your left leg out straight. Right leg stays bent up. I got it now. And we're going to take the left arm overhead, reaching its fingertips towards the floor. Inhaling it back up. And again, reaching. So now we're really opening the side chest. This is when we do our side angle pose. So as you extend now, let's hold it. Reach up through your left heel and left arm. Create as much space on your side body as you can. Reaching over the head. Long, 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 long. And we'll take the arm up. Bend up the knee, rolling onto the other side. Support the head, bend up your left leg. Take the right straight and stretch your arm and fingers to the floor. Inhale, we'll lift the arm up and then reach over. I did the breath backward. My apologize. Exhale, arm up. Inhale, extend and elongate. Keep your leg long and straight. And we take the arm up, take it down, and just roll all the way, or lift up so you can now move your loaf out of the way. And then lay flat again. And if the chin pulls away from the chest, as always, support the head. But this practice we just did helps with thoracic kyphosis and might have just gotten a little bit more length. And we'll inhale the arms overhead. Like I said, flexibility. So what's better than that than Baxter's first vinyasa? We haven't done that this month. So let's exhale, hug the right knee in, chin to chest. Inhale, knee to the side. Exhale, twist. Inhale up to center. Clasp the hands, press the heel to the sky. Exhale, we hug in, and inhale, full body stretch. Exhale, hug the left knee in, knee to the side, and across. Hamstring event, press the heel up. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, full body stretch. Right side again, hugging in. Inhale, half Baddha Konasana. Exhale, twist. Inhaling to center. Clasp the hands behind the thigh, press up. And exhale, hugging back in. And stretch. Left side, moving at a pace that's comfortable for your body. Flowing with the breath so that you are not chasing the movement with the breath. Let the breath be the envelope that holds the sequence, not the other way around. And we'll do it one more time. I'm going to have another little look-see. Make it easy. You're not here to beat yourself up. When we move with a lot of force and strain, we actually tighten everything up. When we tighten and the inflammation increases in the body, that is not the best conditions for the heart. And then there's that new word that I just came across recently. It's new for me, inflammaging. So that chronic inflammation in our body tends to go up as we age. And again, the 3 cornerstones is how we work with that. Rest, movement, and diet. After the 3rd time, I see the suggestion for hugging the knees in and rock from side to side. I think that sounds like a marvelous suggestion. And then releasing the feet to the floor, arms down alongside. So back bends seems, like a no-brainer that would benefit the heart because it opens the heart. And we know bridge, parallel feet. Inhale, press the feet down, lift the hips. And exhale, lowering the hips back down. Let's do another little warm-up bridge. Inhaling up. Get everything firing. Exhaling down. Moving with your breath, lifting up. And then releasing. So this engaging, releasing vinyasa movement facilitates flexibility. Make it easy, lifting as you inhale, lowering as you exhale. Now we can add the arms here. Inhale, lift the hips, let the arms flow back. And exhale, everything comes down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. And the arms may not come all the way to the ground. That's all right. They go where they go. One more time. Down we go. And then let's take the legs out. Full body stretch. Take the arms overhead or out to the sides. And stretch. Press up through the right heel, the right hand. So Ekapada, one-sided, left side stretches. So you're just gonna go for a little one-sided walk. Alternating to the right side and the left side. So on my back, I'm just reaching out to one side and then the other. Can you see what I'm doing, Candy? And again, that's to facilitate a little bit more length as I reach to one side. Again, just adding an opportunity for release. Now let's do both feet and both hands. Bend up the knees, arms down, and roll over onto your belly. Let's tuck the toes under. Take the hands by the side chest, roll the shoulders up and down the back, squeeze them together. Now inhale, press the heels back, and then lift the head, lift the heart. Lengthen the front body, and lowering down. Everything relaxes, tops of the feet come down, shake the shoulders. Press the tops of the feet down, press the hips down, and again, shoulders together and down, and then we lift the heart and the head, and lowering down. Let everything relax. One more time. Shoulder blades draws down, hips presses down, tops of the feet down. Lifting the heart, let the head be heavy. Let the gaze be down. Once we've got all the height available on the heart, then the head floats up. But again, without compressing the neck. And we exhale. Pull back to puppy pose. And inhale up to our tall cobra, flipping the feet as you go. So tops of the feet, exhale, flip. When you draw back to puppy, back and forth. Back and forth. So that gets our femoral artery a nice little squeeze in the groins along with the lymph. It opens the heart, opens the whole front body. So it's not like this sequence is lesser than doing the big dogs. We are moving with aligning the threads that connect the tissue on the front and the back. But next time you draw back, let's draw back to downward facing dog. Take your dog for a little walk. Maybe swing the hips around a little bit. What's available in the dog today? I see there's a dog that's joined in. And sometimes puppy is just where we want to be. And that's perfectly fine. Bending the knees. So I'm in dog, my knees are bent. Now if you're in tabletop, if you're in puppy, come to tabletop. And then draw the right heel towards the floor. That's the calf. And bend it again. And then slowly draw the left heel to the floor. So we want to get the calves a little length. Back and forth. I'm just pedaling it out. And then looking up on the inhalation. Walk or step the feet towards the hands, hands towards the feet, hands to the hips, and inhale. Pump yourself all the way up. Boom. Tadasana. Grounding through the heels. And to get the actions of Tadasana, now does everybody have a strap handy? I know I didn't preface it with a strap. And you can do this without a strap. But take your strap, make a loop that's from the greater trochanter and down to the heel. So it's like, yeah, that's about right. And then take this little event and step into it from the back. I'm going to hold the strap behind. My knees are bent, legs are together. And then inhale, straighten the legs, lift the heart. And that gets the pec minors really, really elongated. Now breathing as you keep pressing the heels into the strap. Keep lifting the heart, lift the head, lift the head. One more breath. And then just drop the strap. But can you maintain this action in the body? This grounded, but elongation. That felt really good. Let's take the blocks to either side of the mat, to the back end of the mat. And that's for side angle pose, which again, we don't need to use blocks for necessarily. We'll stand with the feet as close together as comfortable for you. Again, in mountain pose, that sense of grounded through the heels, but lift the heart. Fingertips drawing down towards the feet. So we create that same lift that we did with the strap. We'll take the fingertips together at heart center. I know my head is cut off. I like it that way. Inhale, let's step the feet wide apart. Wide apart. Let's turn the left foot in 10 to 15 degrees. Right leg out 90. Then exhale, bend. The knee, just check, did it land over the ankle, and straighten it. Bend and straighten it. Bending. Now straighten, take the arms up, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend. Inhaling up. Back and forth. Creating space. And the heart has to work a little harder, so the heart rate goes up when we are continuously moving, but we have 2 heart rates upward. Now let's settling into warrior 2. Turn the gaze, looking out over your left hand. Breathing. And then let's reach out over the right leg. Take the hand either to the block on the outside or forearm to the knee on the inside. Reach the arm overhead. Left arm reaches overhead, but keep reaching back to the left, the left heel. So now we are elongating again the whole side. Keep the breath steady and full. Keep your head neutral so that your ear and your biceps are close partners. Breathing. And inhale all of the way up. Take the hands down. Give everything a little wiggle, 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 wiggle. So tension accumulates in our bodies. 1,000 years ago, or maybe not quite that long, slight exaggeration, Baxter Bell in a workshop talked about the different benefits for heart health, whether we are moving in and out of a pose or holding a pose. And again, it strengthens the heart in two distinct, important ways. And that's all I can remember. So I'm going to have to go back and look at my notes, but that's what he said. So that we need both the movement, but also the holds. Let's take the arms up again. And then inhale, stretching up. Exhale, warrior two. Reaching up. And a warrior two. Again, let the breath be the envelope that holds the poses. And warrior two, settling in. Reaching out through the hands. Spread the fingers. And then bring them together as you turn the head and look over your left middle finger. And I think we are ready for side angle. Reach, Utthita. Hand to the block, and arm overhead, or forearm to the inner knee. So keep your body long. Keep the body long. Check that the knee is over the ankle. Knee is over the ankle. So adjusting the stance. And now don't forget the lessons from all this month. Hug your inner thighs together, creating stability in the hips. And breathe, lengthen, breathe. Can you feel your heartbeat? And let's inhale all the way up. Take the hands to the hips. Maybe go a little bit wider if it's available. Feet parallel. Bend the knees. I'll turn sideways so you can see Prasarna, Padottanasana. So bending the knees, heels are kicked out slightly. Let's lift the heart. Draw the elbows together and hinge forward. Let's take the hands to the spot right under the shoulders. Now from here, maybe straightening the knees by lifting the sits bones, or lift the sits bone by straightening the legs. That sounds better. We walk the hands forward. This is a full immersion. Keeping the hips over the heels, whether the knees are bent or not. Steady breath, steady pose. And then either stay here, and you can take a block to rest the forehead on, and now becomes a restorative pose. Or walk the hands back in line with the feet. Take the top of the head to the mat, and it becomes a headstand. If you have osteoporosis, osteopenia, keep the spine long, not round it. Again, it's not like one is lesser than the other. The right pose is the one that's right for you. One more breath. And then walk the hands back under the shoulders. And then pivot on the feet, travel into downward facing dog. So turning toward one end of the mat, step the foot back, and there it is. Boom. And then take the knees down. Bring the big toes together. Sitting back on the heels so that we can come into wide knee child's pose from the seated. Keep the heels magnetized, glued onto the heels as you lengthen the spine forward. Let the ribs drop down between the thighs. And the forehead will come to rest on the mat or the forearms or block. When we apply gentle pressure to the third eye spot, there's a whole ganglia of nerves that travel through this area, and it is deeply calming to the nervous system. Calm the nervous system, you calm your heart. And then using your hands to press yourself up. And we are settling into our last pose. So let's take one blanket and fold it. And I'm doing a little tri-fold event. This is for my legs. So I have a little leg support. Now you can also use blocks here, but blocks can be a little hard. For my second blanket, I want a little heart roll. So I'm going to keep that in the half fold. And then I'm going to roll the edges over once or twice. So I get a little bit of a roll. Can you see that? Now I may need another blanket for my head, in which case you might want to use your leg roll and place it under your head, and then use your blocks for the legs. This is called Mountain Brook Shavasana. So this little roll I created here is going to be under my heart. Maybe a blanket under the head. My shoulders are going to be coming down into this valley. So this is a pose that passively can help us create a little bit more heart opening. So whether, again, it's comfortable with the blanket or without, what's right is what's right for you. Allow the arms to relax out to the side so they are right in this little valley. Your roll is under the heart. So that puts you in a very small back bend. So extending the arms out to the sides. So you want that little itty bitty roll under the heart. Janice, I think it's too low. So if you move it up, so it allows the heart to expand. Thank you, Katie. And so as you settle in, the arms out to the side, palms facing up. palms facing up. So that when we roll the arms with the shoulders rolls down towards the mat, again, that helps open the fascia. And the shoulders relax, and it again facilitates opening up the whole front chest. Now here we can repeat Vyana Mudra. Thumb, index finger, and middle finger touching. So when we apply a mudra, mudra just means gesture. It doesn't have to be part of a seated practice. We can do it when we sit and watch TV. We can do it as we fall asleep. We can do it when we are just pausing. We get the benefit. We are changing the current within the body. Letting the breath soften. The seed sound of the heart is yum, sometimes spelled Y-U-M, sometimes spelled Y-A-M, yum. You can chant it in whatever way works for you. When I chant seed sounds, I like to do it very staccato. Yum, 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 yum. And that helps awaken the energy in that chakra. And the energy of the heart chakra is joy. It's the right to love. So I invite you to chant yum, 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 loud or silent. What does that feel like? Now letting the chant fade away if you're still saying it. The vibration stays in the body. Bending up the knees. And just little rocks of the knees from side to side, just signaling to the spine we are about to do a big rollover. And then when you're ready, rolling over onto your right or left side. So again, classically or traditionally to the right side. Using your arms and hands to press up into a comfortable seated posture. I'm going to stop the recording so we can chant together.